There is growing concern about violence and gangs in East Boston, especially with murders since last September and a recent federal investigation. City officials are responding on multiple fronts to help with concerns about safety, housing, and opportunities. To bring us up to date is the director of the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, Jerome Smith. Thank you very much for being with us, Jerome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You recently held a meeting in East Boston with some other partners, and this is right after the federal indictment. I've read the indictment. It's very scary. Just getting people to come to a meeting to talk about this, that must have been difficult.
Yeah, it was. And it was right after they had done the raids. You know, we had 3 homicides in East Boston from the MS-13 gang. And then 2 weeks later, or a week later, we actually had about 50 arrests that were from our state, federal, local partners. And so when you hear about that kind of action and activity by our local law enforcement, it kind of shakes the community a little bit, and they want to ask a lot of questions, but they're also intimidated. And so we have to make an effort, and we had this large meeting the other night. We want to have more meetings because we want to feel, a lot of people did come up. We want to reach more, and we know there's more residents that can fill a gym in East Boston, but we wanted to make sure that we continue to provide information to let them know what's going on, and also let them know actually overall how safe East Boston is.
It may be generally safe, but on the other hand, one of the things you've got to deal with here is that there are many people who are affected by gang intimidation who are worried about their legal status as immigrants, and they might be afraid to talk.
Yeah, and so what we do is Commissioner Evans and his team have been great from the top down, talking about if you hear something or see something, say something, and that we're not, for us to actually get at the root of the problem that we have, there's a couple bad actors, and there's a lot of kids out there who, like you said, are being intimidated and influenced and forced to join these gangs, but when you really get down to the numbers, there's just a handful of bad actors, and those are the individuals we want to get at. And so what we say to the residents is that we're not here to ask you about your status. We're not here to do that kind of check. And what we want to know is if you know something, tell us, so that we can actually get those bad actors off the street. And then the kids that are kind of susceptible, whether it's from their home life, fitting in, they're new to this country, new to the city. How do we get at them? How do we wrap around them and provide services and keep them on the right track? Whether we do it through the schools, after-school programs, and things like that. So we found that the conversation at the school was very enlightening. We had a number of individuals from the El Salvador community come out and explain to us where culturally where some of the kids' mindsets are. It caused me to think about how I think about it, because typically, when we look at gangs, there's gangs in East Boston, there's gangs in Roxbury, there's gangs in Mattapan, there's gangs in Dorchester. So, but they're all different. And so for this particular one, you have to understand the culture of where they're coming from. And so we thought it was well, and the Consul General from El Salvador was there, and she plans to open up her doors to have these kind of conversations and facilitate some of this questions and getting some of the answers with us. So we have a lot of partners who are there to try and work with this community and work with the individuals who may be being pressured, and trying to let these kids know that that's not they don't have to join these gangs.
What would you do differently then to meet these young people where they're at?
So we're going to provide some more opportunities, and we have making a large investment in some youth programs out there. We actually had a number of programs that we had at the tables at the thing for people to sign up for, and all different languages. We got it because you have to go where they're at, and so we're going to be working with the police department to actually go into the schools and actually have some of the the school police that actually go around and talk to the kids. We're going to have talk and work workshops with teachers to talk to them so they can identify some kids that they may be concerned about. But we're also going to go into the playgrounds, and we asked residents to kind of work with us, and we are going to expand the soccer league, and that's a big thing in East Boston, and so we're just going to announce this big expansion of the soccer league, and we're also we know that not every kid plays sports, and so over in East Boston, they just received $1 million arts grant from the city, and so we're going to be investing a lot of cultural and artistic programs. So we're going to make a full court press and let these kids know that there are other things that they can do. We're going to go where they're at. We're going to talk to their peers and have them talk to kids. What we just encourage with residents is if, particularly parents, if you see the moods change in your child during dinner, ask them what's going on. They may not want to answer, but if you're seeing them become shy or timid or disconnected or cut off, there might be a larger thing going on that none of us know about. They may be experiencing some sort of pressure out there, but that kind of interaction we desperately need as well, because we capture them during the day at school, and if we can't see any trigger signs, but the people who know their children best are their parents. And so it should start at, having conversations with your kid at the table. What's going on? Do you know somebody? Do you know a friend who might be being pressured by school? Because kids know a lot of things, and they don't always want to fess up and tell us what's going on, but they experience a lot of things through the day that they never talk about. And so it's important for us as adults to sit them down and just get an understanding of what's going on.
Well, some of the programs that don't seem to be concerned with safety, I think they could be very important, because it's not always going to be about a young person going up to a police officer. It's going to be about maybe talking to another kind of adult.
Exactly, and that's why we want to provide those kind of opportunities, because there's a lot of different peer leaders, and we'll do the things with the street workers and the gang task force to get out there and kind of talk to some of the harder individuals. But like I said, a lot of these kids that are being recruited are just these younger kids who maybe have some difficulties at home, maybe have difficulty adjusting in the neighborhood, and they're looking for a place to belong. And these gangs, they promise them this kind of quasi-family relationship. And so we just got to talk to them and let them know that that's not as glamorous and as they might be portrayed to be, and that there are other opportunities for them. And then once we find that they're interested in these opportunities, we need to make sure that we give them the opportunity to excel in different areas.
The federal indictment made the violence seem to be driven by gang leaders, whether here or even in Central America. But in other cities around the country, there are gangs, and things can be exacerbated if there's trouble with displacement, like there is in East Boston, I guess.
Yeah, and displacement's a major issue, and the mayor's creating the Office of Housing Stability, and I know that they're working on creating the mission. There'll be future announcements, and the city's growing. And one of the things that we're learning with the Imagine Boston 2030 process that I'm one of the co-chairs of is that we peaked around a little over 800,000 right after World War II. And then Boston saw a steep decline. We're projecting to be up over 700,000. And if we stay on this course, we will actually go back to our peak about 800,000. And so the question is, if we're not providing the housing stock that we need to sustain all these new residents, you're going to see rent prices going up. You're going to see all these other issues. You're going to see displacement. So when we have to have an overall arching conversation about how we're doing housing, but also not just building new housing, but also how are we stabilizing families so that we have that kind of mixed diversity in all our neighborhoods. And so I'm excited to see this office come together. They've been working hard on it. I'm looking forward to sitting down with them, as the director of neighborhood services, to get them out there and have them have the messages, to set up community meetings so that people can interact with this office. And so I'm looking forward to the steps that are going to come.
Well, we should finally mention that if people have any concerns in Eastie, whether it's about safety or housing, not emergency, of course, is there some way they can get in touch with your office?
They can call my office. My office is 617-635, I'll repeat it, 617-635-3485. That's the Office of Neighborhood Service. Claudia Carrera is the Mayor's East Boston liaison. She's been very active on this issue. She's the one that hosted with our elected officials the community meeting we had the other night. But you can call me or you can call Claudia at that number. If it's just general services, we encourage you to use Boston 311. The app, or just call 311 on your phone, and we can handle some of the issues. And if you want to, the great thing about 311 is if you want to be anonymous, we take anonymous calls. And so if you want to report, if it's an emergency, I want you to call 911. But if you just suspect some things, or you want us to go look at some stuff, or is there a problem property that you're concerned about, or some other issue, call 311. You can do it anonymously, and one of my staff, or we'll divert it to the department that needs to, and we'll address that issue. And you'll get a job code number for you to track it, and then you can call back anonymously, talk to a call taker, and say, my call number is 101.5. They'll look it up and they'll tell you the status of your thing. And so we just encourage anybody to reach out to the city as much as possible to work on some issues.